Oh, want to go. Hi, Madam Feyi. Good morning once again.
Good morning.
Trust you're very well.
Very well.
Okay. So please can you introduce yourself?
Oh, my name is Feyi. I'm a lawyer and in-house counsel in the banking industry.
Okay, are you married?
Yes, I'm happily married with children.
Interested? Happily, eh? So can you walk us through your career advancements? What it's been like so far?
Okay, well, it's been like I don't know if you're familiar with banking, the front office and the back office. I joined the banking sector about say 11 years ago, and then I was initially in the front office doing relationship management, building cabals, casa and lad and all of this, if you understand those my terminologies, and then building risk assets for the bank, and then later as I transitioned to the back office as an in-house counsel. So I currently defend or like ensure that the legal risk of the bank is protected.
And that's nice. Okay, so what has marriage been like?
Marriage has been interesting. Yes, it's been like many years of growth, learning, unlearning, relearning, and also, giving into each other, loving unconditionally. That's, you know, like staying true to our vows.
Interesting. How did you meet your husband?
Oh, well, that's very interesting. I met him like during my diploma days. It's been so many years.
Diploma was when again?
That was
That
many
was before
many
uni.
that was before university, yes. So we're just young. It was 19, I was 16 at
Wow.
the time. So we just met randomly, we became friends because then all through my secondary school I said I wasn't going to have any boyfriend. I just wanted to focus on my education. And then when I was even going to diploma, I didn't plan. I felt I wasn't ready, I wasn't matured. And then but I met this young man, and then he was willing to wait for as long as I was ready because he was sure that he really liked me. And then we became friends for like 4 months. We were friends, and then even when he decided to say that we should go into proper relationship, and I felt I was more comfortable with the friendship, and it was like no, we just needed to define whatever we had, and I told him no, and then he went away. It was at that point in time that I realized that I'd grown. I had feelings for him and I couldn't. So it was now me going back to say, oh, please, I think we need to have a conversation again. So and that was how we started.
Wow. So you dated your sorry, the friendship of is how long now? The marriage is how long now?
Okay, the marriage is 10 years,
Okay.
but we dated, we're in a relationship for I think 11 years. So altogether I would say
22.
22 years, yes.
Wow. My senior. So what would you say is the key to a lasting relationship?
Oh yes, there's so many, just not just one key. So like I would say that first, before you go into a relationship, as individuals, you need to know yourselves. You need to know
Yeah.
what you want, and you need to be in tune together, especially when you are looking towards building a Christian relationship and marriage.
Okay.
So ours is based on our principles. We had our terms clear, and then all through the relationship, not like we didn't have challenges, but because we were very we paid attention to the foundation, and then we built like a relationship that was built on communication, that was built on openness. I'm able to express my feelings without being afraid that, oh, what would you be? And then considering that we're both lawyers, a lot of time people
Ah,
say
nice.
lawyers, how would they cope and all of that. But once we are together or we get into our homes, we forget that we're lawyers. You know, we become lovers, and we communicate on that basis. You understand? We communicate on that basis. So there is really nothing about, oh, I'm talking to my husband and he's thinking like, oh, why are you speaking to me like you're commanding me? No, it's a level playing ground. I'm able to expect him. It's not like he doesn't offend me, but I've been able to find a way to say my mind and say it in a way that he understands, and also vice versa.
That's beautiful. Lovers, not lawyers. So what would you say you love most about your partner? That's your husband.
Oh yeah, so like I say, my husband is someone that he he just does his thing without expecting anything in return. So if he's going to love you, he loves you, not
Wholeheartedly.
because you love him. If he's going to give, he gives not because he knows, oh, if I buy a better gift, she's going to. So you are the one that is now going to, not like it's competitive, but when somebody gives and gives and gives, it puts you in a state as if, oh, I think I need to do this. So
Need to up
I
my
usually,
game.
yes, I usually say something about finances in relationship. It's one key areas in marriage that is always having challenges. But I said, I discussed with some other ladies that we didn't have that we don't have that challenge because my husband would disclose, I have money. Oh, I did this job and somebody gave me this. Oh, I did. It would text you. So it is very difficult for me, even if I was going to hide my own finance or my own money, to hide, because you would be, the first thing that comes to mind is, if I do that, this person that is doing this much, how would he feel? So
Mm-hmm.
he's like, he arrests your conscience, so he would never tell you, oh, this is how I want you to do things, or this is what I want you to do. He just goes ahead. He will never tell you, oh, I need you to love me like this. He just continues to love you, to the extent that you yourself, you'll now be like, oh, I don't think I'm doing enough. So it goes like that, and then we realize that at the end of the day, we put back into ourselves, and then we place each other first in each other's lives.
I hope you guys are taking notes. Anyway, okay, so what would you say has been the family tradition that you have established so far in your relationship that you still do till today?
Okay, so the family tradition is communication, because the Bible says that can two work together except they agree.
Agree.
And also there's a verse in Genesis that talks about they were both naked and they were not ashamed.
Yeah.
So nakedness is not just the physical nakedness. Nakedness has to, you don't have any secret, you don't bear grudges, you don't have anything that is going to make your partner to be aggrieved with you. You are open as a book. Do you
Vulnerable.
understand? Yes. And then also, we've been, coincidentally or luckily for both of us, we've been working in the same axis of Lagos since we started
Oh,
work. Yes. And, or let's say, like the same line, like the same way to work. And we've maintained one car over the years, and then we drive to work together, and then we come back
come back
together.
together.
So all through that journey of maybe like an hour to work and an hour back, there's no way that you fight with the person. Even if you're fighting, you resolve it. When we are, maybe like when we're fasting, we have like a day in a week that we fast together. We break our fast. Even if we're on the road, we pray together in the morning, in the evenings. We talk about virtually everything in that car. And that's why I jokingly tell people that when you see us pass and we don't offer you a ride, just know that that car is like our own, our own small place of
Your own safe
togetherness, a
space.
safe space of togetherness. And then we usually do not want any third parties at that time. So, and that's the reason why you see us drive around. And then aside that, we ensure that we have sex very often. A lot of people
Ah,
don't talk about this, but we realize that when you are bonded in sex, in sexual relationship, there are no distractions, or there is no reason why one person would be, and it builds that closeness. A lot of marriage counselors emphasize this, and then I think like I bear witness to that it has really helped.
wow. So wait, how often are we talking about?
As often as you can think of. As often as you can think of. I know it's weird for people to say those kind of things, yes, but as often as you can think of, as and it's something that seems hard, but as you go along, you would enjoy it. You would both of you will come to be able to find it. Yes, sometimes it can be like intense, like every day for like 2 weeks, and then you take a break. Then after a while, you get at it
Are you
again.
sorry? Are you citing an example, or you're speaking your reality?
I'm speaking my reality now. I've always told
Interesting.
you that. But yes, it's very interesting, honestly. It makes you sleep well. It gives you a very bright skin.
Sex.
Yes, it
Oh,
gives you
okay.
very clear skin. It clears your head in the morning. It relieves your stress. You get to work and you are all shining and bright, and people are thinking, what's going on? But that's it.
Now I'm seeing the glow. No wonder.
And you're
Because
happy too,
wow,
You're not
wow.
cranky. All those bosses that work that just shouting up and down, oh, I already give
So is
my
it lack of
time.
orgasm
Yes,
now?
now. So please go and ask them. Next time when you see those people, you go and ask them, like, you're not moody,
Lip suit. But the challenge now is this. Most couples that reside in Lagos have that issue of, oh, I've been gone all day, I'm back, I just want to sleep, I just want to rest. How do I manage sex
So the
with
thing
this?
is intentionality. That's the thing. I'm not joking. It's not like times when, sometimes I'm in the kitchen, I'm rushing up and down, I'm this and this. Like sometimes I just maybe like get into the house and then I go straight into the kitchen to see what's going on or what I need to fix or something. And I realize that just by dashing or popping in, I end up staying there for like maybe 30 minutes, 1 hour,
Mm-hmm.
still in my work clothes. And then my husband comes in maybe like shortly after, maybe like 3 minutes after me, and then he goes into the room and then he's there for hours. And then in my mind, I'm like, I think in my head, like, oh, this man now, so he expects that I'll do all of these, run around, go to the children's room and everything. And then the next thing, I go into the bedroom and then the night saying, alpha. And, like sometimes, I think about it in the kitchen. Like I'm like, I'm like thinking, like my emotion is like getting very high. Like, what do you mean? What's this? But there's a way that you understand that it's not supposed to be used as a weapon against your husband. If you have
Oh,
any issues, you settle it, other than saying, oh, I'm not going to allow him to touch me. And then it is it is not one-sided, as in what you feel or what you enjoy from it. It's not supposed to be one time. And then it's a biblical injunction that God has given to us, that we should satisfy ourselves. And he said that your wife's breast will satisfy you. So
yeah.
you wouldn't want a situation. Although yes, giving sex to your husband is not giving sex to your husband is not enough reason for him to go out, but it could be a way for the devil to create division into your home, and you don't want to be the cause. And that's the reason why. So marriage is more like you're obeying God. And like my discipleship training now is voice of God, and we're treating obedience partial, not partial, full obedience. And then when you're saying in every sense of the word you want to obey God, that means you want to obey everything that has to do with his word. So if the Bible says submit to your husband, and you want to be obedient to that word. If your husband says, "Oh, I need to have sex with you," it's not that time that you say, "Oh, because you didn't you didn't help me," you know. And sometimes in the morning we are having our baths together, and I'm like, "I beg, don't touch me," or what you did to me yesterday, and it's like, "Kilo man share now," that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody we just laugh over it, and then we talk about it. And then sometimes if I'm not, like, I'm still very angry, you can we write together that you hardly get, not like we don't have our days of arguments and thought and all of those things, but being able to also say you're sorry is also important. When you communicate that, oh, this is what you have done, and then you say sorry, and then you need to nip it in the bud, and that's it.
I'm taking notes. Okay, so looking at what I've heard so far, it's very clear you have a very beautiful relationship with your husband. But has there ever been any challenging moment where you were like, why am I even here? How did I get here? Should I even be married to you? And all of that.
Yes, there's no marriage that is devoid of such.
Ah.
There's no marriage that is devoid of such. So the first time I had something like that was maybe when we were dating, and then the relationship was extending, what like beyond what I thought. And at that point in time, my husband was my junior in school. Somehow I was a year ahead of him, and people believe that you need to date somebody that's like 4 years gap. And although we have 4 years gap in age, but in career, I got called to that before him.
Okay.
And people expected that, oh, this wasn't going to work. Sometimes people come
Might
back to
be a
us like,
topic for another day. But
sometimes
let's
people be like, oh, how did you do it? Some people didn't even know how we started, because we did diploma in a school we met, and then we moved to another university to finish our law degree. So a lot of people didn't know how it happened. They just felt, oh, like, oh, no jambite rush. You
mm-hmm.
just toasted your senior, and the senior did not know, and all of that. But I laugh over it, and I don't even bother to like explain how it happened and all of that. So when it was about we were about to settle, or by the time I became like a full grown woman, the thought of, oh, my friends are getting married, this guy doesn't even have a job, he's looking for it. I remember when I was 7, he just finished from law school. I remember during service year, I'll go to law school, we'll sit down together, we'll go through his notes, I'll explain to him, oh, this is this course, I'll explain criminal, I'll explain civil procedure and all of that. I'll encourage him, oh, you need to graduate with good grades so that I can get a job. And but that became overwhelming sometimes. Like I'll be like, oh, when is he actually going to rent a house? When is he actually going to buy a car? When is he actually, like I
How long do I
became,
have to wait
how long do I have
for?
to wait for? That kind of thing. Like it was quite overwhelming. But one thing that kept convincing me was like I love him for who he is, and then I'm willing to work this with him. So I look back and from the relationship, even though it was unnecessarily lengthy. I think correcting myself from initially that I said 11 was actually 13, and you know I wouldn't want to be with somebody else because he understood me very well. He still understands me. And then that was like this focal point. And then I was like, even if we're going to be in a room apartment and we're going to be maybe like in a bunk size bed, I don't mind, you know. So when people see us now and then they're like, oh, these people they are looking well, they're comfortable. I just smile especially when I tell young ladies like, oh, like never despise humble beginning, and people tell me, was your beginning humble? I'm like, you don't know
You
anything.
don't know
You
nothing.
know nothing. So that was the first time that I had that belief that, oh, what am I doing here? But forging ahead, the love conquered it all, because the truth of the matter is, you rather be with somebody that you love than with someone that is able to protect those financial um
Security and
security and all of those things may not like be able to carry you for a long time, but that love that you share would always be
always
sustainable.
overcome.
Yes. So that was the first time. Then the second time was not too long ago in our marriage, when my husband had challenges with his job. And then we've been talking about it, that, oh, you need to do this, women are very instinctive. When things are going to go wrong, there's a way
True.
that
You
we
just have an
sense it.
idea.
But men are just one way traffic. They're just
Logical.
going, they're not. So, I was like always nudging him to say, oh, do this, do that, do this, do that, do that, do that. And it wasn't. And then when this whole trouble started, the first thing I told him was,
I told you so.
I told you so. And I kept saying, I told you so every day, every day. And I wasn't even looking for how. And I was like, this mess that I've created, I'll never get you out of it. As a matter of fact, I am taking my children, and that was in the midst of the jackpot, taking my children. If it's Canada, I'm going. If it's this thing, I'm going. I'm leaving you to sort your mess. And my husband is a man of faith. A lot of people don't know that about him because he can be quiet, can be a lot of things to a lot of people. He's a man of faith. And I can say that is one person that has drawn me closer to God than anybody else, because his faith at work, he puts his faith to work. And then I remember that very day, we see how they helped that day. My help was crying. In fact, we were fighting, like our house was like, was vibrating. I
Turbulent.
don't even know where my children were. I know the fight came from the bedroom to our living room. I was crying, my husband was crying. Please. He was begging me, please don't go, please. I'll sort it out, please. My house help, called had to call my house help, like, please. My house help on her knees, and she was begging, mommy, please, mommy, whatever it is, I don't even know, whatever it is, please. And I was like, no, I will go. This one, I'm not ready to even sort this thing. I've come this far, you will not do this. And the bombshell my husband dropped, when you drop a cold ice, and the next thing he was like, whatever you will do, I have begged you. But you know one thing, the God that I serve will sort me out. When you are just looking for one word that would resonate with the situation that I are in, and he just dropped it. And he said it with so much assurance. He looked into my face and said, I begged you, this woman, whatever you want to do, don't do it. But you see, this God that I serve will sort me out. And there was a silence at that point. I looked at him. I looked at myself. And then I'm like, but you call yourself a Christian. But you say this man, you will stay with him. in health, in sickness, in this, in that. You have you have sworn to God, and now He's telling you do whatever you do. But you see, this God that I serve will sort me out. At that point in time, I didn't know whether I should beg. I didn't. I just with maybe like with shame or with pride, I stood up. I just went into another room. I just went to lie down, and I just looked for one of those songs. Because when I'm in that kind of mood, the only thing that can calm me down is I just want to listen to a Christian song. I can't remember the song. I think it was Sissy Winans or it was something. I just started like listening to the song. I was still crying, but I slept off. By the time I woke up, I just went to my husband. I just told him, you know what? I'm not going anywhere. I have forgiven you with all my everything in me. This devil that has come will join us together. We will fight it. And I can tell you, we decided our best when we're in trouble in our house. The only thing we do is midnight prayer. I think I've told you before. We do
Yes.
midnight prayer, and then at
Yes.
that point I said, once you see us that we're saying we're going home to go and sleep early because we want to do midnight prayer, there's trouble. And then we decided, set alarms. We started every day, every day, every day. It wasn't like sometimes I still get angry. Oh. Again, I was like, what's wrong with you? You brought us here now. But at least it was still like I wasn't angry that I was leaving again. I was just like, okay, I was still snap like just like a woman. But where. And then in 6 months, what happened, it still amazes me till today. How the whole thing transformed. And every time my husband will say, I told you. I told you.
His moment of I told you
I
so.
say, yes, I say, I told you now. You don't believe God. Are you a Christian? Are you sure? You need to go. No, you don't say sorry to me. Just go to God and say sorry. And in my mind, I'm like, I bet pastor shift, you know. But it's something that people need to go through, and then you need to know God for who He is. You need to get to a point in your life where you know that you will not get angry, not that you will not sin, but by the time that word comes from God, whatever that you have imbibed in yourself, or the word of God that you have been like reading and inculcating in your
Meditating.
meditating on over time would would come out and then will connect with you. You understand? If I hadn't have any relationship with God, as little as it might be at that time, I could have taken decisions that I will look back now and regret. And then not like I was sure of where I was going or what I was doing because I was taking that decision in anger anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been very, 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 very detrimental to my
Yeah.
marriage, but I'm grateful that God came through.
Wow. That's very touching. Very touching. Okay, I think that will be all. Do you have any future advice for any advice for us coming behind you?
Yes, just build a Christian marriage. It looks like something unachievable in the society that we live in today. But trust me, there are a lot of people that are having Christian marriages, and then also ensure that over time, encouraging each other in the Lord to grow together. And then it starts from the foundation anyway, because if you don't, if you're not like minds, trust me, you find it difficult. But if you're like minds and then you are really in love with each other and you're willing to like give to your marriage and make your marriage work, you'll be a walk in the park.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for your
You're
time. Please have a
welcome. Thanks
lovely
for having
day.
me
Yeah,
again. Thank you.
sure.
I
Bye.
enjoyed myself. Thank you.